Welcome to episode 36 of the Break 80 podcast. I've got a little extra pep in my step today, boys, after nailing the winner of the Sony Open this week. We can get into that a little bit later here, but before we do, I need to say that I'm joined by Mike and Tim tonight. Are you guys ready to give up or are you ready to continue?
It's a long season, long season. You never think you're gonna beat the defending champ this easy.
Yeah, are you talking about picks or just in general?
You know, well,
Everything.
anything. I like winning in anything. So regular golf too counts, I suppose. But we've got a lot on the plate here. We're going to talk a little bit. We have some Q&As. We've got the Sony Open coming up to chat about. That just recently happened. We've got the new tournament coming on this week, the American Express. We'll go over our picks. We're going to do some picks of the DP World Tours. That's a bigger tournament this week. Mike wants to share a little story of the Corn Ferry Tour kicked off, and they're playing at a place that has some history that he wants to share. So we'll talk about that. And then we've got an interview with a guy that's known for his I should say expertise in the Myrtle Beach area. Tim did an interview with him, named the Salty Golfer. Great follow on Instagram to kind of cap things off. So a lot on the plate today. I want to start with, though, some golf news. I think anybody can say that's a golf fan. We love our golf content. And I think knowing that Netflix followed professional golf last year gets everybody pretty hyped. The trailer came out knowing that most likely – you think about drama in a season, it cannot be a better off season, or I should say season to follow than this year with having the Live Tour come up. Netflix following them. I don't know if we've had this kind of drama since, Tiger Woods was getting 9 irons thrown at him. So it'll be really fun, interesting. I'm excited. I mean, drama is what sells. Anything that sells, whether it be football games, whether it be Desperate Housewives, whatever you call it, drama sells. So I'm excited for it. What do you guys think?
I saw in the trailer somebody was throwing a chair or something in a locker room at one point. I don't. How do you keep the if not the camera, the microphone away from Spieth when he's just berating Michael Greller and whining about missing shots and stuff?
I think
Well, at least
people fall
Bubba
more in
wasn't
love.
featured. Yeah,
They're gonna
at least
fall more
Bubba
in
wasn't
love.
featured. And one good thing, it's coming out on the 15th. I hope it drops at midnight. That way I have something to stay up late for Valentine's.
Oh,
Tim,
Yeah.
you won't have a date that night.
oh.
You'll
YouTube
be up
might
by
be busy.
midnight.
I'm available. I got nothing going on. So I'll stay up till
Maybe
midnight for that.
after I take the lady out for dinner or something, I'll come over and cozy up on the couch with you and watch some Netflix.
Oh, thanks, Mike.
He'll bring some chocolates for you, Timmy. Well, I will say, I actually, one of the listeners commented to, maybe bring this up, and I did want to watch. I watched a little bit today of Breakpoint, which is the tennis version. It all depends on how they want to capture the year. I mean, how they show it. I mean, it's very much up in the arms of the producers how they're going to portray what happened. I mean, that's going to be a big part of it. Obviously, the content of what happened is already there. Framework is set. How will they show it is another thing. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. I can say that the Breakpoint one, they really do a nice job of trying to capture the people with the most personalities. So obviously, if anybody's a tennis follower out there, I'm a former tennis player myself. Nick Kyrgios, if you ever know who he is very much a huge personality in the tennis world, and they do they follow him a decent amount, and I think that's the reason why, because people enjoy that kind of stuff. So it'll be interesting. Are they going to follow? You're probably not going to hear a lot from some of the more boring personalities just because they want to sell. Now, I don't know who would you consider with the boring personality in golf. I mean, who'd be your pick for the most boring?
Dustin Johnson, and he is on here.
But he's on the he's interesting in a way because he married Paulina, so that's already.
Well, it depends how in depth this Netflix special goes. Because the Dustin Johnson from the early mid 2000s, I'd watch all day long.
Was there a camera in the Augusta house when he was on coke and fell down the stairs?
I don't think it started that early yet. Unfortunately,
there's an NDA on that one.
I think for the listeners who maybe don't want to watch Break Point, you could easily watch an all-time classic, Point Break. I would watch Point Break many times over than watch Break Point with some tennis guys. You got Patrick Swayze. You got the dead presidents, Robin Banks. You got Johnny Utah saving the day. You got Tim's idol, Gary Busey. You got everything in Point Break. It's an all-time banger.
Yeah. Man, they should just follow Gary Busey for a day. That would be something else. That'd be content in
We could
itself.
probably get him on the pod. Is he still even alive? If he's dropped that far in stature, he'd come on our podcast.
Maybe. I mean, I just loved him from that was some of my favorite Gary Busey moments. Trying to think of some of them classics, but yeah, he can't be doing well.
Him and Nick Nolte are two just classic.
Oh, love me some Nick. No, that one. That's
guys.
the one with what was the college basketball recruiting
Blue
one?
Chips.
Yes,
all-time
that's
classic
love
when
that
he just
one.
punts the fucking ball into the crowd against Indiana. Yeah, I love
Shaq's
Nick
in that
Nolte.
one.
Yeah,
Good Lord.
Shaq, Penny Hardaway.
Speaking of classics, I watched Fletch last night for about the 5th or 6th time.
All-timer. Although Fletch lives, maybe even better when he goes to Georgia. Or where the
I
hell
don't know.
he goes,
I learned a very valuable lesson from Fletch, and it's just you put it on the Underhill account when you're at the country
Always.
club. You throw it on someone else's account.
You know, this basketball talk?
The youngsters will never get how great Chevy Chase is. He's an all-timer. You got Fletch Lives, Caddyshack, National Lampoons, Spies Like Us, just a ton of sweet bangers.
I mean, it's up to for interpretation, but
what came first, Chevy Chase Country Club or Chevy Chase?
The Country Club.
Well, of course.
Yep. I would love to play. Would you love to play Chevy Chase Country Club with Ty Webb or Chevy Chase? That would be amazing.
I don't want to get too far off this basketball topic when I say this because we have not filmed Tim shooting 10 free throws yet.
There's still 0% chance.
That's the content.
There's no way.
Capture at some point.
As soon as it gets nice outside, I'm bringing a ball and we go golfing. We're going to find a court. There's no way in hell you make 9 out of 10 free throws or whatever the hell you
Just
said
not one of those triple or double rim BS.
There's no way you make 9 out of 10. 0% chance.
It's got to be a single rim with a spring and not a chain net.
We're going to circle back to that for sure. So, well, the Hawaii swing, if you can call it that, I don't know if only two tournaments can be considered a swing, but the Hawaii swing finished up in Honolulu this week. The Sony Open dogfight down the stretch with my boy Siwoo Kim narrowly edging out Hayden Buckley. This is Siwoo's 4th PGA Tour win. And I got to say, I felt this one. I really did. I think I just felt like he's kind of a player. I don't know. He's got 4 wins, and they all kind of seem somewhat random. He's got the Wyndham Players Championship, the American Express this week.
Yep, back to back.
That's going this week. Yep, and then now the Sony. And I don't know what kind of course really fits him, but he just pops up. And I think what's kind of interesting to me, he did chip in on 17. He did birdie 18. He finished strong, but when you watch Siwoo, you don't really think about much personality there. He's very kind of quiet-mannered guy. And I just remember from the driver off the deck shot that he hit at the Players Championship. That's really all. But then he had the President's Cup, which was huge for him. That's where we kind of got to know him a little bit better. He's doing like the cocky, shushing the Americans, which I thought was pretty sweet for the moment.
When you're getting your ass kicked, it's kind of like the old celebration, in the football game when you're down 41-6 and you're celebrating touchdown.
Or you make a steal and a dunk and you're still losing by 20.
Yeah.
But then he also wore like this funky outfit this weekend too. That kind of he's trying to show a little bit of personality, which I enjoy. So I don't know. We kind of got let into his his character a little bit, which is nice because I really feel like some of the especially the Korean language barriers where you don't hear a lot from them in terms of interviews and stuff. It's really fun to see the personality come out on the golf course. But he closed it out, got me a big win. I don't know. That's about all I got from the tournament. You guys want to add to it?
Well, his clothes were his shirt there the last day was louder than his personality for sure, but he did not take the cake for loudest outfit. That was your Olympic medalist. What did Rory Sabatini get? Silver.
Sabatini.
Your Olympic silver medalist. Rory Sabatini went like full tourist mode, and he had on like the White Lotus. You know, if you've seen that show White Lotus, he had like the just Hawaiian print to the max.
Just
that
Magnum
one day.
PI, just solving mysteries out
Yeah,
of the course.
Yeah, just Tom Selleck. If he would have shown up with a mustache, that'd been baller.
Yes.
I like that outfit. I thought the white hat, white pant combo was a pretty good look for Hawaii.
There was
As
a lot
someone that
of
did it himself.
there were some interesting outfit takes. JJ Spawn had the untucked shirt rolling, and he played really well. Not Adam Scott, of course, who went just straight up monochrome yet again. He was like khaki the one day.
You know, the mustache reminds me of, I don't know if you guys saw much of the Golf Channel, but Johnson Wagner was on it.
He was really
Just a-
good.
Yeah, it was really good. I thought he did a nice job. When I saw him though, it reminded me of Ron Burgundy. Like I couldn't like not see the mustache when he's behind this. That's all I could think about was when I heard him speak was Ron Burgundy.
I'm
Just the way he
Ron
looked.
Burgundy.
Yeah, the question. Reading the teleprompter. So, but yeah, he did really well this week too. So I don't know. I mean, the golf is golf. I'll be honest with you. I think the ratings are down overall. You know, that's going back to, you know, comparing to last year. I think obviously football is always going to be a factor. I know I love golf as much as anybody. I mean, you're going to catch me watching golf most of the time, but I need to be eased into golf. I'm still kind of into the football mode playoffs.
Yeah, I
But
didn't
you know,
watch a lot of it.
it's either for the super sickos or the, you know, huge better, you know, bet people that are going to be watching a lot of your golf tournaments this early. But
But
yeah, I don't know why it's down a little bit. I'm not sure what the.
realistically, if you're a huge golf bettor, you're probably betting on football games too. So you're still watching that. The NFL is king. I mean, it just is. You look at the product they roll out there. Almost every one of those playoff games was pretty close. You know, within a touchdown. We're not going to talk about the Vikings. We're gonna give that 48 hours. They're, you know, and we'll see if they fire the D coordinator. But the NFL puts out such a good product. It's always exciting, always entertaining. It's just, you know, it's just the king.
Yeah, I agree. Well, the thing about too is Sony's not an elevated, and the Century was, and even the Century that was elevated was down quite a bit. And I think a lot of it was there's Thursday, Friday down, so I don't know what the impact of that is. And I think a lot of people maybe also be going back to work. I don't know if, you know, last year there were still a lot of people working at home, maybe watching while they work. I don't really know the answers to it, but it is down. I know Tim's kind of got a smile there because, you know, that's his. He's a big live guy, and he wants a PGA Tour to go down, but
Well,
I don't have the answers.
I think traditionally next week is when people start tuning in a little more with Torrey Pines, the Farmers, because you go, where do they go? Farmers? Is it Farmers then Pebble, or do they go Riviera? Farmers Riviera. There's a really nice stretch of golf here coming up. And I think that kind of seems to me is almost like the kickoff more than the Hawaii and the Palm Springs event.
Yep. So to go Farmers, AT&T, and then what a lot of people really think is the kickoff is the Phoenix or the Waste
Phoenix.
Management.
And then they go back to Riviera. Is that what they do?
Then they go to Riv, and then they're Honda.
So it's a really good, like these next 4 weeks are really good. I mean, the Phoenix golf course isn't good, but it's an exciting event. And then the other three, you got, you know, really famous golf courses. So
That's a great stretch of golf right there.
Yeah.
A lot of cool golf courses too. So I mean, you get to see the.
Riviera's a top. That's
Yeah,
a
but
top
it's-
5 non-major event for me to watch.
And that's
think
kind of what I was
even-
saying though. Like Riviera's got like a hole, like, oh, I know this hole. Like you've got hole 10, really cool at Riviera, right?
Yeah.
Played in, and that's what I was kind of trying to talk about in the Hawaii. Like I don't see a lot of those kinds of types. You know, I don't see water come into play like you do at Pebble. I don't see
Yeah.
just basically a carve it one way at Sony. At the plantation course, it's bombs away, let it roll forever. I mean, that's just kind of all I see when I watch it. Even PGA West has, if you guys can see Mike's background, has the old surrounded island hole on 17.
The Alcatraz.
Is that what they
here's-
call it?
We're here on the
Yep.
tower at hole 17 of the stadium course at PGA West.
Well, it's nice because we've got 3 courses to view this week, and then Farmers will get split between north-south. So we
Yep,
get 2 courses.
for the first 2 rounds.
Yep. And then AT&T will have 2. No, or is it 3? Are they going to have it
Usually
ready
do
by
3,
then?
don't they? Oh, I guess that, who knows what happened there.
I think
Monterey got pretty torched by waves, but
Did you see the country club, what they did to that in a matter of days? They had it
I
back.
did.
They had it back looking like damn near perfect. It was crazy.
I did. So hopefully that'll be okay. But then you've got 3 courses there to watch. So you get this great diversity of courses before you head into Waste Management and Genesis. So it's one of my favorite stretches of golf, just because it's the only time you really get that much course diversity. However, you don't necessarily get to see enough of Spyglass, in my opinion. You don't necessarily get to see a bunch of both of North and South, and we won't see all of La Quinta versus what we'll see at PGA West when they go out there.
I will say, and we can leave some of my stories from till next week, having played like Torrey Pines South. For overrated golf course. I think the North Course, a lot of people say the North Course is actually better, but we can talk about that next week.
What do you? I mean, real quick before we get to our recap of how our picks went this week. What do you guys think of a tournament that uses multiple courses?
I like
your
it.
thoughts? I know the Break 80 podcast major was multiple courses this year. I know, just
yeah, that's how we do things. But
yeah,
I don't know if the pro. I wonder if the pros like it.
I think they've in terms of the tee times would be nice. I mean,
you could all go out around the same time every day, get kind of the same weather, albeit at different courses. I would think they'd like it more, because if you're on property, Spyglass is 10 minutes from Pebble, is 10 minutes from Monterey.
Yeah, I don't know. I want, but I'm torn on that, because I wonder they're so good and they can get so dialed playing that same course over and over again. They can get so dialed into it, and I don't know, but they shoot low scores at this one, at the American Express. It's when we get to picks here, I'll talk about it, but they light this place up.
Well, and that's 3 courses to prep for too. If you're playing it for the first time, that's a lot of prep work for your caddies.
Yeah,
make them work. Make them work.
Well, so that's probably a con of it too. But pro is just being able to fire away at different courses, see different things. I can see that playing sometimes 4 courses can get a little bit. The same course can get kind of monotonous over 4 rounds. But anyways, Mike, do you want to give us a recap on how picks went this week? Give us a little update here.
Rushing into this one, huh?
Picks went horrible this week for the listeners. Yeah. Jeff picked Siwoo Kim at plus 4,000 or plus plus 4,000 to win, which he fucking did by chipping in on 17 and birding 18. Which I'm actually, before we get into this, I'm amazed that Buckley held up as well as he did. Did you see his golf swing with like the driver? He's swinging it like you're teaching somebody to like stay on plane. Like he lifts the club and kind of hinges and then rips it. It's crazy. But let's see. With that win, we don't need to go into the other ones really. Jeff was plus $3,778.74. Your other one you got right was Poston over Woodland.
You really should have gone to the casino with that one, Jeff.
All your other picks were no good. I was in second. Corey Connors did make a valiant run for me a little bit. The Canadian, he got all the way up to like 12th place like that after a slow start, but I did have Maverick McNeely in the top 10. So I won that one. And I did have Corey Connors over Tom Hoagie, which you guys did not. So I was positive $155.76. Timmy had pretty much everything wrong, except for he had you guys both had Poston over Woodland. Tim was negative 321.76. So both Tim and I have dug we're in a hole to start the year. So I got some big plays this week, though. Big plays.
It's an investment.
Comeback season right away out the gates.
Sounds like Timmy needs to do a little valeting here to get.
Yeah, you just don't build any character if you win right away. That's the thing. You don't want to see their early W, because you don't really find who you are as a person.
Yeah, you got a little suffering. A little suffering matters.
Well, we hit to the American Express, and as we mentioned, it's a bunch of courses. I guess the one that they played twice is the PGA West course in La Quinta, California.
Yeah, the stadium
by
course.
Palm Springs, their stadium course there. Pete Dye design. So Timmy's got, instantly excited about that, I'm sure. What do you think about that, Tim?
It's pretty wide. I mean, they're known for 2 things. They're known for Alcatraz, which Mike has up if you're on our new YouTube page.
Yeah, YouTube will be coming here.
And then also that mega bunker, which it's kind of one of those things you just got to go down there and hit out of it. But I have to be honest, not quite the standard Pete Dye where it's it's super challenging, like Sawgrass is, or a Harbor Town. It's a little bit more open off the tee, a little forgiving. And Mike will attest to some of the low scores that are seen.
Yeah.
But again, kind of cool to see some diversity with the Nicholas course and then the country club.
Yeah, it's super low scoring. Every winner since 2007, so for the last like 15 years has been at 20 under or better. So they light it up here. I don't know. I'm assuming you got 2 rounds of the stadium course, so they light it up there too. I think Zalatoris shot 61 last year in one of the rounds.
If Hudson Swafford can rip 23 under par, I'm sure it's not as hard as Pete Dye intended.
Yeah, and it's kind of it's more of it's not long. It's like it plays, I think, on the stadium course at least, because they have 3 different, but the main course plays under like 7,200 yards, I think, which it's the only Swafford and John Rahm won 1 year. But besides that, like the last 10 years, a lot of the winners are more like ball striker kind of guys, that hit it pretty straight. Cause I think a lot of the par 5s out there are forced layups. You can't go over some of them and stuff like that. So it takes the driver out of the hand of the longer hit players. So it widens the field a little bit for a lot of different kind of winners and a lot of first time winners.
Yep. It really does have a sawgrass field coming down the last stretch. So hole 16 is a 600-yard par 5 with, again, that huge bunker. If you Google it, you'll see a bunch of clips of a few guys ended up down there and attempting to sprint up the hill, to usually failure on their part. Then it goes into a fairly short for the pros par 3 that looks a lot like Sawgrass 17 with the rocks, nicknamed Alcatraz. And then 18 finishes up with a shorter 439-yard par 4 with water all down the left side, kind of reminiscent of the 18th at TPC Sawgrass. So some really crossover design elements. And in fact, originally Pete Dye didn't want to do Alcatraz. He thought the island green would be the signature only for Sawgrass. Wanted to kind of keep it that way, but the request from the ownership group there really kind of forced his hand, and he ended up putting those rock formations around that island just to give it a little bit different flavor. Can attest, I would use those rocks to my absolute advantage. Definitely get that one on after bouncing off a couple.
Yep. Yeah. For those folks that were following along, Tim did use the rocks in the Break 80 Major last year a couple times. So he did still shoot a 94.
It could have been higher.
Yeah. It could have been worse.
It was a 2-man race. It was a 2-man race coming down the backstretch at Landman.
Well, we would have had we just played Landman. Would have been a tie at the top, Mike.
Yeah, I know.
Remember, he only plays really well at good golf courses.
I fended off total, just a complete meltdown mode that I was in mid-round.
What it takes.
Well, I've got this part of the trying to pick players that play well. You kind of look in some of the stats. I think strokes gained approach is a big deal. Putting on Bermuda, so looking up specific grass types. Birdies are better gained. Opportunities gained, proximity 100 to 150 yards. A lot of scoring clubs used, and then par 5 scoring, because you can see as kind of what Mike was referring to. A lot of scoring clubs are going to be used where you got to get it pretty tight and make the putts. I think a lot of the greens are somewhat undulated too. You got to get certain parts of the green where you find little bowls, or you've got to putt over a bowl or across a bowl. Can be kind of tricky too. So there could be some 3 putts out there. But let's get to the framework, Mike. You want to get to the framework of this week's picks?
Yeah, pretty basic again. We are going to do a winner. We're just doing straight $100 bets here again. We'll get a little more intricate as we go. A winner and a top 10 pick for both the PGA Tour at American Express and the DP World Tour in Abu Dhabi, which we'll talk about in a second. But so we got 4 different picks this week. So let's start with the American Express. We'll let Jeff go first. He's our money winner by a mile right now.
Well, like they say, when you get the big lead, now I'm kind of worried about it because, when you get in a lot of sports, you get this big lead, and what do? You get conservative, right? You start trying to, run the ball, You start trying to run some clock. And I'm going to say that I'm kind of doing that, but kind of not. I am going to pick Patrick Cantlay, who's a very good golfer, obviously a top 10 golfer in the world, but his odds are not very good. His course history is great, but he's not coming in with amazing form. So his odds are, I think, plus 1100, which, that's pretty good win for a guy that's had a lot of success golfing at this course. But with the struggles going on, I can't quite call how he's going to play, but I'm going to take that risk with the top 10 player in the world.
Well, he got dumped by Hugo Boss. He's missing. He's missing a clothing sponsor. If you follow me on Short Sighted Golf on Instagram, I made a push when I saw this for Uniqlo to make the all-time dynamic duo, monochrome madness, Adam Scott and Patrick Cantlay. The two most boring same color dressers could be under one umbrella at Uniqlo. They could have an entire marketing scheme around this, but we'll see. Maybe he's picked up some more sponsors.
Fantastic. And everything is just one shade off, so we can all notice.
It's amazing.
It'll be the shirts and the pants right next to each other, just one shade off every time.
Can they team up in Louisiana and be partners this year?
They should.
Oh my God, yes.
I mean, Scotty, Adam Scott is like the sexiest golfer in the world, according to most people or whatever. And he actually makes it look kind of okay, because he wears like pants that fit properly. And Cantlay just wears giant parachute pants and just looks horrible. Just terribly dressed. But Uniqlo is missing out on a huge opportunity here. But okay, Tim, who do you got for a winner?
Well, just like the Vikings, I'm gonna have to come from behind. Albeit I'll have more success than them. But I want to pick something that's tried and true, someone that's done pretty well in this tournament in the past, and coming off a little bit of a lackluster start at the Century. But I'm going to go Scotty Scheffler for my win.
Digging really deep down the list there.
Well, I'm in the hole. I just want to get back to even, and then we'll go big after that.
He must. Can he, if with a win, can he get back to world number one again? He's got to be close.
I do not know. Yeah, I do not know about that.
All right. These two boys went plus 1100. They took two of the top favorites. I'm going way down the list to my guy. We have a personal connection. We drank a beer together. I trash talked about the Vikings because he's a Seahawks fan. They played that night. He 100% does not remember that, but I do. That's my guy Joel Damon at plus 9,000. It's his kind of event. He's a very straight hitter. He doesn't bomb it. You don't need to here. I'm looking at his stats for the 22-23 year, which is all in the fall because he didn't play in Hawaii, which is might be a problem.
13. He was doing the shorties. He was over at the shorties Tito thing. Losing.
Yeah, we gotta talk about Mountain Shadows for you on that trip before we get off here too. But so 13 of the last 14 winners in this tournament played at least one event in Hawaii. He did not. So we're taking a little shot in the dark here.
Less than plus 9,000.
But he has all the metrics for this. Strokes gained off the tees, 23rd. Strokes gains approach, he's 27th. Around the green, 31. Tee to green, 10th. Strokes gained total, 26. He's really high ranked and everything. Putting, he's 164. So we're banking on a hot week on the greens for Joel. Good ball striking, or just hit it close, Joel, like you do, and you won't have to worry about the putter. So that's where I'm going. Joel Damon to win. How about top tens, Jeff?
I'm going to go with the guy that it's the old, if you can double dip current form and course history, that's the ultimate goal, right? So I'm going with the guy that took 14th last year, took 4th last week, and David Lipsky. I think he's plus 800.
He's gonna Lipsky out. He's gonna Lipsky out some putts and not break the top 10.
As long as he gets a top 10, he can lip all the putts he wants.
Tim?
All right. Well, speaking of course knowledge, talking about a guy, this is going to be the only tournament where he's returning to. So he's been brand new at everything up until this point. No course knowledge, and that's Tom Kim. So this is going to be his first personal second lap. at
Should be a-
at PGA West.
Should be a good course for him. It's not long, it's tight. At some point, maybe before the Masters, we're gonna have to talk about Tom Kim and how many majors could he win? Because he's very short, like extremely short. And the majors, are always like 7,600 yards. Like, have you seen his driving distance? He's hitting it like 270.
Well, he
Like,
Love that.
played fine at Quail Hollow, didn't he?
yeah, but they weren't playing it back at like PGA championship distance though. Which I wonder about. I mean, he's an awesome player. I'm sure he'll win one some point, but doesn't it limit your opportunities when you're hitting 2 irons in and everybody else is hitting like 8 irons in?
I mean,
I don't know. Anyway,
that's-
we can talk about that later.
That's why you won the major, Mike. We were hitting 2 irons in, and you were hitting 8 iron in. You
Yeah.
gotta pick a
So-
better course next time, Tim.
I mean, it's not a particularly long course, right? Most of the
this
par
one-
fours.
I'm talking about this one's good for Tom Kim.
Oh,
This is
yeah.
a short, tight course. I'm talking about majors, down the road. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna go with a guy that literally statistics say he's got 0 chance of doing anything here. But and I don't even really know how his form is, but I do know that the scores here are always something around 20 under. This guy makes a lot of birdies, and that is Sahith Theegala. Can he hold it together and get a top 10 finish? I think he can.
He's a good
Maybe.
player. I mean, I think
All
he
right.
can play well at any golf course.
Abu Dhabi on the DP World Tour, which if have you guys seen this golf course? It's sick. It's
A
like
little
top
bit.
50. It's like top 50 in the world.
Oh yeah. I
According
mean,
to
the
Golf Edit.
backdrop. The backdrop's really come
Yas
along
Links,
nicely.
whatever it's called. It looks amazing. If you are out there listening, Google YAS Links, and it looks awesome. That's where they're playing the Abu Dhabi HSBC Championship, which has a decent field. But yeah, the golf course looks amazing. Jeff, who do you got winning this thing?
I've got Shane Lowry. He took 12th last year, won in 2019. I guess enough said. I'm sticking with my formula. Course history, recent form. I don't think he's played a lot of golf. I think he actually skipped. Him and Rory skipped the Hawaii swing, or didn't play the elevated event or whatever in the plantation course. So I don't know his 100% current form, but he likes this place. I'm sure he's been, drinking some cocktails and hitting some golf balls. So I'm gonna go with it.
If he would have played in Hawaii, he would have been so fried, just sunburnt, he wouldn't have been able to play in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, that's why Rory skipped too. Anybody that the Irishman didn't like. Did Seamus Power play? Because he also would have been burnt.
Lowry's 14-1. Tim, listeners are going to hate this pick. Tim, go.
The listeners hate America.
Oh, he's no longer Captain America. that's
He's
for sure.
Captain America.
Mhm.
He's Captain America. I want those odds. I need my live guys playing well. So we're going Patrick Reed in the Arab Desert.
33-1.
Love that. Love that.
Yeah, I think hopefully it's hot there, but it's not. But it's a dry heat, so maybe the humidity will keep his neck from swelling a little bit, so the choker won't get too tight on the neck.
It's like a little sweatband. That's all it is.
I'm gonna go with Victor Perez. A lot of you may have no idea who Victor Perez is. Let me tell you a little something about Victor Perez. Last week at the Hero Cup, which is a little match play they do over there with Great Britain and Ireland versus Europe, he won 3.5 out of 4 points. He kicked ass. He got second at the Abu Dhabi tournament before it, but at a different golf course. Always plays well in the Middle East. This guy loves himself some Middle Eastern golf. So Victor Perez going out at 40-1 odds to win the whatever the hell this is called, Abu Dhabi HSBC Championship.
Mike swinging for the fences. Love it.
Can you imagine? Let's think about this. This is good. What if I double dip the winners here? This whole thing's over for the year, boys.
And we
Anyway,
just start digging deep and reaching is what we do.
top 10 for Jeff.
This name you might recognize. He played really well. He had the big lead in WGC event in Mexico a couple years back. I don't really know recently where he's at, how he's done, but I do know he took second last year. Shubhankar Sharma is, I think, how you say that. And
Great golf name.
Great golf name. I think he can get me a top 10 at 10-1.
Yeah, 10-1. Timmy.
Again, we're not really stretching for anything outlandish right now. We're really staying in the guardrails. I have the bumpers up at bowling right now, pretty much. We're going Terrell Hatton, only because I don't think it's even other than a will of God that removes him from the tournament. I don't even think it's possible for him to not top 10. And I really just need those dollar bills right now back
Yeah,
in the old account.
he's going off, folks, at 6-4. This is the he's the favorite to win the tournament. But for one, him and Fleetwood, this is the bet that if you're at the horse track, only like the pro bettors that know this guy's going to win are betting. So Tim's really going out on a real limb at 6-4 odds here to win next to nothing. Well,
Real pro move.
I'm gonna go with the guy I think everybody's heard of. He's not coming in at great form. I don't even know if he's still alive, to be honest, but he's playing in the field, I guess, so he must be. And that is Haotong Li, who were taken at top 10 at 14-1 odds. And he has won twice in the desert before. He's won the Dubai Desert Classic and the Saudi International. It may be his only 2 wins. I have no idea. But that's what we're going to go for a top 10 for Haotong. Those are the picks for episode 36.
All right, some good picks out there. So following along, get those on your PGA Tour app, star them up, see how they go this week. One thing I want to point out, another golf tournament that started this, I think it started on Sunday, is the Corn Ferry Tour. And we had, if you checked out episode 35, Frankie Sappin was on there. He played in this event. Unfortunately, he missed the cut. I think he shot +4. It was awful in the par fives. I think he had 3 double bogeys on par fives. But Ashley Batia, very talented golfer, lefty, is in the lead at -8. But Mike wanted to tell a little story about this. It's called the Bahamas Great Exuma Classic at Sandals Emerald Bay.
Correct. And Frankie will bounce back. If you've never seen him play, he's a super talented golfer. He'll be just fine. But the golf course they're playing at is home to one of the wildest rounds of golf in modern golf history. And you can Google this and it will show you on like YouTube some video of it. The 2017 Greater Exuma Classic in the Bahamas, where the winds hit 40 plus miles an hour sustained, and the scoring average, like some guy shot 2 under for the 4 days. It got nice like the last 2 days or something like that. The first 2 days, I don't know. 2 of the days were really nice, but 2 of the days were insane wind. And one day the average was 82 was the average score on a tour where normally the scores are absurdly low. And I'm looking at an article here, and there was a guy playing. He missed the cut. He is quoted as Greg Eason. He was a college All-American at UCF. So he was a Division I All-American. He didn't make the cut. He shot 91-95, and they asked him about it at the end. He said, "Well, I started with 36 golf balls and I ended with 4. So a professional golfer lost 32 fucking golf balls in 36 holes of golf, missing the cut, shot 91-95. And if you look up the scores, like Sepp Straka, who was, a pretty well-known player on tour, he won the Honda last year. Did he win in the fall too? So no, he lost to Zalatoris. He was in the playoff. He shot 85, like 88. Brendan DeJong shot 89. The wind was crazy. One of the par 4s, the 12th hole, averaged like 5.36, which is just insane. I heard this once somewhere as I read about it. Pros were like, there was a crazy wind, like 40 miles an hour on a par 3, crosswind, pushing it towards the OB. So they were intentionally hitting it into the water on one side, intentionally hitting it into the water on one side of the green so that they could take the drop, try to get up on there and make a 4, because if you hit it anywhere in the air towards the green, they would just push it out of bounds. So they were strategically laying up on some par 3s. It was just the most bizarre thing. You can see there are some clips on YouTube from like the PGA Tour, but they're not very good clips. They're not clips of the crazy shots. It's like Tommy Gainey making a putt, with like full rain gear on. It's like windy and rainy, but it would be better if they had some of the crazy wild shots, because it's one of the most bizarre rounds or 2 rounds in professional golf history.
It sounds like fun, not?
No, not at all.
Sounds like some of my rounds out at the spring at the Classic.
Yeah.
Brainerd
So I know
So,
Tom Lovelady shot 72 in those elements, which is insane. And he called it like a top 3 round of his life. And this is like a guy who shot, 60, I'm sure, before many times.
well, before we get to our interview with Salty Golfer, we had another listener ask questions about winter sim leagues here in Minnesota. I'll be honest. I don't know if any of us three have regularly played in winter sim leagues. Obviously, they're out there. I'm sure there are some really good ones. I think Tim. I think you looked up some ideas for him with that, or no?
Yeah, and I have played in a couple. So I've been a
Okay.
part of a sim league through the St. Croix men's club out there. I've been a part of Three Jack, both their fall and winter league, and X Golf. So have done quite a few, along with doing kind of the sporadic Friday, Saturday tournaments, the one-dayers at Inside Edge. Unfortunately, if you're looking for leagues this late in the game, most of them have finalized for the winter. Most of the signups would have happened likely in either November or December. However, X Golf does have shorter events, so 2-round events where there's a qualifying and then a championship flight that they do have going now through the end of spring. So if you're just feeling the competitive bug, a good way to get that. And those are located at Apple Valley, Blaine, Champlin, Medina, and Woodbury. The other place is going to be Inside Edge that does run specialty leagues, kind of one-offs on Friday, Saturday nights, or one-offs when they don't have enough people in. The other thing, and this is for the listeners, we're currently working on a possible Break 80 league with 24 Golf. What's nice about this is if everything goes to plan, you'll have the flexibility to complete that round at kind of your leisure. You won't be beholden to a specific time. So you won't necessarily have to come in Tuesdays from 7 to 8 to get your round done. So long as you can complete it within that week or the week and a half time period on the course that's selected, you'll be entered to continue to compete against the team or against the total group, however it's matched up.
Yeah.
In addition, if those of you are looking for sim time, make sure to use your Break 80 discount code. Currently getting 25% off at Go Low Golf and the Minnesota Golf Lab out in Long Lake. That 25% off is on Sims Time and club fitting, along with what I just did, which was I got my ferrules redone with Hunter. So they look excellent, but a great discount there through Break 80. And then discounts going on right now for really the introductory membership at 24 Golf. So can go as low as just 4 hours a month for a super discounted price, and can just play it at your leisure there. So a couple excellent ways to play, and a couple kind of last minute places to be competitive.
Otherwise, just get your buddies together and go play around in golf and drink some beer and have a good time. Or reach out to us on social media. We'll come play on a sim with you sometime.
For sure.
If somebody's looking to play.
Yeah, and I also want to shout out if this company actually runs simulator leagues. If you look up Mulligan's Golf, not the simulator place, but Mulligan's Golf, that's what they do for a living. I mean, I think Alex Malmgren is his name. Really cool dude. I think Keith helps him too. Those two guys run all sorts of leagues, and that would be probably my recommendation if you're looking to get in a league. Get a hold of those guys. They run them all over the cities. And I can probably get you in if you want to join. So, yep, use those code break 80, and yeah, hopefully we'll see you guys in some simulators this winter.
Well, Timmy won't need a simulator starting tomorrow.
Oh yeah, where are you going, Timmy?
Tim's heading to the Southwest.
Heading to Scottsdale. So we're playing tomorrow. Get on the flight at 7 a.m. Get there by 11, and right before 1 o'clock we'll be teeing off in the Tuesday Skins game.
You have to get a bunch of content from that. So if for the listeners, Tim and I played Mountain Shadows with a friend of ours, with Zach, in August. And Mountain Shadows is a par 3 course. But the vibe, it's like old school 60s, 70s, like Palm Springs vibe. Super cool, crazy greens, incredibly overpriced. Tim, what are you paying for a greens fee tomorrow at a par 3 course?
110.
Wow.
So you're paying more than like Stone Ridge here. But they have on Tuesdays this par three, this league, the skins league. They have an Instagram handle called Arizona Skins League. And if you go on it, there's professional golfers playing. So Tim is going to be donating money, to these guys. Like I looked up last week or 2 weeks ago, DJ Trahan got like second. And DJ Trahan, I looked him up. He's got like $11 million on like the PGA Tour in career earnings. And that Brady Calkins, that's the Dakotas Tour kind of legend that played in the U.S. Open last year, he plays. And sometimes Max Homa will show up and Joel Damon if they're around. They won't be this week, but so it's like a bunch of stud golfers. They post the scores. So if Tim plays,
I can't wait.
Tim
We're gonna
scores.
put that
yeah.
on social media, aren't we?
If you ever go on there and you look at some of the scores, some of these guys, it's just like a string of two, just circles, two, 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 two. It's some of these pros, and there's gonna be Tim, who I'm hoping.
Tim's
I don't want to stir up any bad demons, but Tim's first we got right out. This was right out of the car in the morning, but before we played, Tim's first like 4 or 5 holes were just dead pulls left into almost off the property.
I was a little hungover that morning. I needed a drink or two to get back on my feet.
But
after that, it went well.
Should be good content. So follow Timmy, because I bet you that'll be fun, because the vibe there is sick. It's a great vibe.
It only takes one swing to make a memory. That's
Yep.
that's all I need.
That's right. You just need to make one skin. Yeah, Tim's gonna make a pyramid of those boxes.
Make an
he puts on
ace,
that
and you will get a
scorecard.
skin.
Yeah.
All it takes is one swing, buddy.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
that'd be awesome.
We'll also be playing Talking Stick, Weeko Paw, and AK Chin Southern Dunes, and then hopefully throwing maybe 1 or 2 other rounds in there. Both of you know how I travel, so it'll be a lot of golf.
So here's a quick talking point. What are you paying for Weekopa?
I want to say it's around 230.
230 for Weekopa. There was a story broke this week that the old course, St. Andrews, is raising their rates this year. People were up in arms over there in Scotland to 295, and Tim's paying 230 to play Weekopa.
It's all about the weather.
I know that.
They
for
know
sure,
we are hostages.
We could spend an entire episode on me ranting about how overpriced American golf is, because it totally is. You could play 5 rounds at the old course for the cost of 1 round at Pebble Beach once you figure in the hotel stay that's required. It's insane how good of a deal golf is over there compared to.
So I've got for the Abu Dhabi tournament here for the DP World Tour, it's a required stay and play.
Well, I'm sure it's not cheap.
No, it is not. This is, let's see, average cost $745. This is without golf. $740 per room, $760, $775, $1,300, $1,500. So
Crazy. When we're in the doldrums of like February, we could have a legit talk about the Scots. The Scottish do it right. They have world-class golf courses, a whole bunch that are top 15, 20 in the world, and they're all public pretty much, other than probably Muirfield, I suppose, is kind of tough to get on, but they're almost all public. They're not that expensive. They're way cheaper than the top flight US courses. They got to,
you know what some of the issue is, and here's some gossip for the listeners here in Minneapolis. Met the director of golf for Hiawatha. Yes, there was a vote on it. No, it has not passed, and no, there aren't any anticipated changes to the course that are happening. So Hiawatha likely will continue to be 18 holes through 2023.
We should get some investors and break 80. We should just buy it.
We don't want that. We don't want that floodplain. We don't want that.
But I've never actually played Hiawatha, but are there 9 holes that are higher?
There's certainly pieces of property that are a little higher. Yeah.
Could you make it? It's a cool location. Could you make it like a Winter Park 9, where it's just a cool vibe, 9 holes? It's you can see the skyline, probably all that stuff there. It's a.
Well, here's what I asked, because what they charge at Columbia, Gross, Theo, even there now, you can turn a profit. And they don't even do their own liquor representation. They hire out a third party to hold the liquor license and do the actual sale. So they're just doing the golf course, which seemed like, hey, you should make a profit. In fact, they do. They make a really good margin. The problem is that all profits get turned back into the parks department, where they're then divided, not equitably back into the golf courses, but amongst all park projects throughout the city. So the golf courses do great. They're fundamentally financially sound. It's just when you take that money and you put it into the larger bucket, it gets divided between all the parks instead of just the golf courses.
But
They suddenly don't have the finances to have a good grounds crew like they really could.
But if you cut down on the number of holes, you cut down on the number of, grounds crew, you cut down on the number of everything needed.
You should play that and tell me that they put any money into that course.
I've never, it's the only one I have not played. But
keep in mind they put $2.1 million into Winter
I know,
Park 9.
crazy. But like, think about it. The Winter Park 9, you guys played it. It's awesome, right?
So fun.
I think Goat Hill Park by San Diego is supposed to be awesome. Sweetens Cove, amazing. Is always sold out. There's a niche there for 9-hole, but it's got to be cool. It can't be just a piece of crap 9. It's got to have crazy kind of greens, or it's got to have a lot of character to it. And
we had that niche. We had ponds at Battle Creek. What was the 9-holer in Woodbury? I thought was good. I mean, they had good bent grass greens. It was a unique course, and they shut that down for a housing development.
Yeah,
that's a little bit on the suburbs though. Like this is like in St. Paul, isn't it not?
It's in Minneapolis. It's like
Minneapolis. Okay, so you can see the skyline.
It's right there.
Yeah, like
right
that's
by
kind of what Winter Park's
Inn.
like.
Excellent wings.
Yeah, it's right there. And if you'd have to have investors, and you have to pump some money into it you'd have to get some crazy greens, some fun greens, and you have to have a clubhouse where it's a really laid back, fun place to be. But there's definitely and
you got to be able to walk. Like it's got to be
walkable.
Very, very walkable course. In fact, the building itself and the land is a historic site because it's one of the first places in the U.S. and then definitely in Minneapolis where they allowed Black players to play and where they had league.
It's got a lot of history.
It's a very significant site for Black golf in America, and especially Black golf in Minneapolis. So we won't ever lose the building, I don't think. It's just we can't necessarily afford to lose that course. And they're kind of up in arms with, well, we need all this money to renovate, to cut down costs later on. And I mean, government is doing government things, and thank goodness we've got one more year. So if you're listening to this and if you've never played Hiawatha, go get a piece of history. If you have, keep supporting them.
I suppose I'll have to get out there this summer.
It's a great place to bring the old clubs.
Yeah, the vintage set. Jeff's got to get a vintage set for next summer.
I got a couple persimmons I got from Hunter, so we got to start.
You got to
Yep.
set.
Yep. It's the best way to play it, I think.
We'll have to go out there and just start secretly mapping out 9 holes where we want it for the Break 80 golf course at Hiawatha.
Break 80 golf designs.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be sweet as hell.
Mike is out there with his chainsaw cutting down all the trees.
Yeah, it'd
in
be links.
Yes.
It'd be the links.
All links.
Links course in the city. It'd be perfect.
I heard the wind really rolls off that lake.
All right, take us home, Timmy, with the introduction to Salty Golfer.
Yep. So for our guest this week, we've got Wes Lohman on. He is a kind of a celebrity out in the Myrtle Beach area, where he assists with some of the travel plans and plannings, some of the tournament setup, and some of the vibes. So it's a pleasure to have him on for those folks that are like me and like to leave Minneapolis when it's cold. Now is about the time you want to start your planning, your flight purchasing for that late March, early April into early May, depending on the snow. And the Salty Golfer is certainly someone you'll want to contact to help do that. So without further ado, here's that interview. All right, well, really excited today. We've got the Salty Golfer, also known as Wes Lohman, on the channel, a really big personality in the Myrtle Beach area. And just for the listeners out there, want to give you a couple stats. I personally think this is the value capital of the US. It's certainly, I think, the greatest golf density in the US, with over 86 courses in Myrtle proper and over 100 in the surrounding areas, but definitely one of the most affordable places you can go. That being said, Salty Golfer, Wes Loman, thank you for coming on. I so appreciate and having you.
Yeah, man, it's my pleasure. Happy to do it. Happy to spread the word about how good golf is here in Myrtle Beach, and kind of an official ambassador of Myrtle Beach golf. And we're the golf capital of the world for a reason. We've got 86 courses in my backyard, and it's the most affordable golf you can play. And it's not just resort golf either. I mean, we've got any kind of course you want, we got it. So for the beginners, for the mid-level, for your plus handicaps, we can make any kind of trip happen down here. And thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. I want to talk a little bit more about you, because some of our listeners are just up here in Minnesota. We're really trying to give people a little bit more travel room, right?
Sure.
We're heading into the bears of the winter and the cold and the snow, and we want to give people a place to go. But I also want to tell them what it's like for that salty life, because we see the stickers here. I don't know why we have them on cars, but I'm sure you see that salty life down there. What does it mean to be a salty golfer?
So we're a laid back golf lifestyle brand. We want to play the best golf we can play, but for us, it's more about creating memories on the golf course with people, with our friends, with our family, whoever it might be. And what we do as the brand, the Salty Golfer, we help you create that trip, that memorable trip that you want to come back to year after year after year. And we want to document. We want to take care of the documentation while you're on the trip. We want to play with you if you want us to. We can be as involved or uninvolved in the trip as you want us to be. We can strictly book the rooms and the golf and let you be, or we can play every round with you. Or at least like to come out one day and just say hi and introduce ourselves and get you guys to sign our pirate flag and just be a part of the family now. So it's just really helping people create a golf memory and something that they can look back on and like, man, that was so much fun. Remember when we did this? We're not always going to remember the scores, right? Unless it's something special. We break par, or we have a hole in one, or we hole out for an eagle. We're going to remember those things, but we're going to remember the times we had, the beers we drank, the dinners we had, the laughs and all that stuff. And we just want to kind of take the pressure off of you guys of having to do that. We want to be there. Like when we go and play with you, we're filming, we're taking pictures. You don't know when we're filming. You don't know when we're taking pictures, but we're handling all that for you if you want us to be a part of that. And then at the end of the trip, we edit them, we get them all to you, and they're yours forever, for us to have something to remember that by. And it just takes a lot of stress off. Hey, let's get together, let's take a picture. You know, like we know the best spots to take the pictures on the golf courses, and we'll stop and like, hey, this is a great spot. You got this behind you and this, blah, 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 blah. And that's just what we want to do. We're trying to bring more education to the Myrtle Beach golf area and just prove to people that, is it affordable golf? Yes, but affordable doesn't mean bad, because we got some really, really great golf courses down here, and we're excited to share them with everyone. So there you go.
And for those that are watching on YouTube and can see our faces right now, I've got a Caledonia shirt on.
Yeah.
It's my favorite course in the area.
Yeah, that place has my heart, man. I love Caledonia. Spend a lot of time there. We take a lot of groups there. Caledonia and True Blue, their sister course, been very, very kind to me and what we've tried to create. And they were, right there from the get-go. They saw it and they wanted to be a part of it. I can't thank Bob Sagani and his staff enough for seeing the vision and wanting to get involved. So
you do bring up a good point, because I'm traveling starting tomorrow, and truth be told, we leave Friday. I don't have anything booked for Friday. I don't have anything booked for Thursday AM. And there's only 3 of us. It's tough. It's tough to book. It's tough to get tee times, to figure out where people want to play, the coordination, and you're doing that for folks.
Correct. And it's so, like, let me just give you an example. We just booked a trip for 16 golfers. If you've ever booked a trip, I don't care if it's 3 people or 20 people, if you're the leader of that trip, to get everyone together and on the same page and wanting to play, well, I want to play this course and I want to play, it's tough. It's hard to do. So we try to help that person with that. We send them videos of courses that we think they would enjoy. We try to get we ask them what their budget is per player. And we just try to educate. If they're coming down a certain time and they want to play this course, well, we know when courses are going to be punched or when they're going to be aerated. Like, that's the worst, right?
Mhm.
You schedule a golf trip and you get to the course and they punched 2 days before you got there. Like, that's horrible. No one wants that. And we help people with that. And we educate them too. Like, you know, the chances of you playing Caledonia and True Blue and Willbrook and the Heritage Club for $250 is not going to happen, right? But if you're on that type of budget where you can only spend $400 per man or $600 per man or whatever it is, we can dial you in and still make sure you have a really good time at some really, really good golf courses. That's where we think that we help people out the most, is we kind of explain to them like, hey, if you want a True Blue on your trip, we can make that happen. But here's what has to happen for that to happen, especially if you're wanting to play 3 or 4 or 5 rounds, right? And you're on a budget. That's where we kind of come in and help you get you that ultimate trip where you might not be able to play 2 of the best courses you wanted to play, but we can definitely get you in on 1 of them at least, you know. And it's all about the budget and what you're willing to spend. And we've got people playing golf down here 4 rounds for less than $400. Now, are they True Blue and Caledonia? No, but they're really nice golf courses and stuff like that. So that's just what we want to do. We want to help you guys map out the correct golf trip for you and make sure you have a really good time doing it. So
Yeah. And I say, can attest, I've been down to the Myrtle area 3 times now. Loved it every time I've gone. But it can be stifling just how many options there are out there. So having someone help narrow that down is such a big thing. Going to some of the best though.
yeah,
No price point on these. What would you put in your top 5 for your top 5 courses there?
this
And,
could change. This could change weekly. It really could. Caledonia is probably always going to be number 1. That's a very special place to me. I love that golf course. You've been there. The beauty of that golf course, what Mike Strantz did there with the little property he had was just incredible. That course's greatest defense is how beautiful it is. You get awestruck by how pretty it is, and the next thing you know, you're 3 over through 2 holes, and you're like, what just happened? So, but that's always going to be up there. I love Presswick, which is right down off of 544. It's a Pete Dye, PD Dye design. Probably Bones from hole 1 to 18, one of the more difficult golf courses down here. Everyone knows that Dye made golf courses to be hard, and he succeeded with that on that golf course. That's always going to be in my top 5 too. I love the Heritage Club. I think sometimes Heritage Club gets lost because it's down in there with True Blue and Caledonia. It's basically right across the street. I love that golf course. I love Jim Huntoon, who's the head superintendent out there. Tidewater up on the north end. Tidewater and Caledonia will always be in my top 5. Tidewater is up on the very top of the north end. Its nickname is actually the Pebble Beach of the East. It's got a bunch of holes on the marsh and waterway. Not waterway, but you can see the ocean from a few of the holes. It can tip out to almost 7,300, I think. So if you catch the wind on a bad day and it's coming in off the coast, I mean, that course could play 8,500 if you're tipping out. That course is always in wonderful shape. Fairways are always great. Greens are always rock hard and fast. Fairways are like carpet. I mean, that golf course is very special. Really good golf course. And let's see. I would have to put, it's kind of a 5 and 6 kind of rotates for me. It's probably TPC Myrtle Beach or True Blue. I like both of those. TPC, Dustin Johnson, you know, he has the big kids am out here every year, the big world amateur thing out here every year. The golf course is always in great shape. I mean, it's a TPC, so it's, you know, that kind of tells you what it is. It gets a lot of play because of that. True Blue is another Mike Strantz course, completely different from Caledonia. It's more like a tobacco road type feel. A lot of waste bunkers, massive greens, but narrow greens. Just, you know, it's a Mike Strantz course when you get there. So I you can't really go wrong off the tee. It's wide open off the tee, and just everything seems to be a waste area around the fairways. Very tobacco roadish. That's probably my top 5 or 6. I do love this. It doesn't get a lot of package play per se on vacation. The Grand Dunes, not resort course, but the members course.
Okay.
Very nice. They just had the South Carolina Amateur out there this year. Very good golf course. But to piggyback off of that, Grand Dunes Resort just redid all of their greens, all of their bunkers. And that place is pretty special right now. And that's
Okay.
one anyone can play. It's a very good golf course. But that's probably my top 5, 6, or 7, I'd say. Yeah.
And say I was so shocked by, because I went and played tobacco this last year,
Yeah.
and the similarities between True Blue and tobacco. True
Right.
Blue will get you warmed up to do the carnival rides that is tobacco when you go.
100%. Yeah.
And it's half the
That's right.
cost. It is half the cost of what Tobacco Road will cost you. So it's a
Great.
fantastic price point.
Right. I just for instance, I've got a group coming out in 2 weeks. We've got a thing that we can do with True Blue and Caledonia, and it's called a 2-play stay. And it's a 2-play rate, and it's $175 to play both courses, which is, I think Tobacco Road sometimes is that you might be able to play that one time for Tobacco Road. It's kind of crazy.
225, 225, and they might be raising their rates this year. So
100%. And that's the great thing about Myrtle Beach. Caledonia is a Golf Digest top 100. True Blue hangs around the 100 spot every year. Sometimes it creeps in, sometimes it doesn't. But if you're looking for really good golf courses for not like crazy prices, we can definitely help you out. That's for sure.
now, did the Dunes Golf and Beach Club, did they go private, or did they still have some open tee times here or there?
Great question. So what we're hearing is, yes, you can, but they have spiked that price way up. And yeah, it sucks, but they have gone way up with that price to get it included in packages.
It's still the fastest greens I've ever played. They had the member guest the day after we played it.
Oh,
How
so
they let us on.
Yeah.
I think they were going to have it at a 14.5 stamp.
Yeah.
And we were walking off.
I played it out there. I played out there the day after they had an NCAA men's event, and they were, concrete.
Where they can put, oh my goodness, where they can put pins and how fast they can get those greens.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's a great golf course, and I wish but I know they're trying to protect it. I get it. I understand that, but they are supposedly this spring raising that rate to get it. They don't mind it, but they don't want as much as they've had in the past, I guess. So.
Great logo. Still one of my favorites. I got a whole bunch of merch over here.
Maybe the best logo on the Grandstand. Maybe the logo might be better than the golf. I'm just saying.
Well, it wasn't just golf that brought you to Myrtle, because where were you before? You're not a native, but I think that's
no, not a native, but we've always owned property in Myrtle Beach, condos and stuff like that. Family has, and always vacation down here. I was born and raised in Nashville, Tennessee. My mom was in the music business, so I grew up in Nashville. And then got kind of good at basketball in high school, and I transferred to High Point West End Academy, a prep school in High Point, North Carolina, and played high school basketball there. And then went on to play a little bit of college ball for just absolutely broke my foot in more places than I thought you could break it. But that's, neither here nor there anymore. But like I said, always vacation in Myrtle. I have a day job, and the day job needed me to move in between Fayetteville, North Carolina, and Savannah, Georgia. So I was like, well, I know where I'm moving. And we moved to Myrtle Beach, which is right in the middle of those places. And so we've moved here in 2019 and have been here full time since. And but like I said, I've been coming to Myrtle Beach since I was 3-4 years old. So really a second home to me. So I consider myself a full-blown local now that I'm here full time.
Absolutely. And I found Myrtle to be one of the most inviting places because there are so many transplants as far as a city. You meet people from the northern part of Florida that got tired of so many people moving down, to people from New York and Jersey that got tired of the cold and ran away from the city. Have you felt that there as well? Just how
Well, we're
inviting it's all been?
So Horry County, the county that Myrtle Beach is in, is the fastest growing county in America right now. It just took the #1 spot. So
Wow.
yeah, we can feel it. So
Wow.
in fact, it's sad 3 or 4 golf courses have closed down because they've been bought to make housing developments. So that's sad. I understand it. I get it. But yeah, so it's kind of the people that are locals now. No one, the kind of running joke is no one's from here, but we all live here, right? So that's kind of the running joke. So
Yep. Well, for those of us that aren't there as frequently, we'll say, what are some of the other highlights of Myrtle Beach? Some of the restaurants that someone should go check out, or maybe a couple of the attractions if you're not a 36 hole a day kind of group, right?
yeah, absolutely. And that's what, so I'll do one even better. I'll give you the idea of how kind of the Salty Golfer came about, right? So, and this plays into that. So let's just say you're down here on vacation, you're with your wife, a couple of kids, your parents or whatever, and you're the only one that plays golf, right? You're the only one in the family that plays golf. You want to play golf. Your wife's giving you permission to play a couple of rounds while you're on vacation. So you want to get dialed in somewhere. So I know how it was when I would come down here because my wife doesn't play golf. My kids, I got a couple of kids now that play golf, but when they were babies, obviously they didn't. And my dad didn't. My dad and his family didn't always come with us. So I was booking a tee time, and then you get teamed up with 3 people you don't really know. Then it's weird for 3 or 4 holes. They don't really want you a part of their group, and you're like, well, I wish I was playing by myself, you know. And then and then it's okay after 4 or 5 holes most of the time, right?
Yep.
So then I was like, I live here. I'm taking pictures of these golf courses. I'm going out. I'm meeting all these people. Why don't I make myself available to that person that's coming to Myrtle Beach that doesn't know anyone, wants to play golf, but doesn't necessarily want to be put with 3 other people he doesn't know? Well, if he's got me, he at least knows one person in the party, right? So that's kind of how we came up with the Salty Golfer. I was just that person that you were going to somewhat know because you follow us on Instagram and you recognize the face. And then I don't know, I can make friends with a lamppost. So I can kind of make it easier on people to like get involved and just kind of keep everyone, you know, chill and we have a good time. And that was kind of how the Salty Golfer got started. Like, let me be the person, you know, if you don't know anybody, but you want to play golf. But yeah, man, I mean, I got the beach right here behind me. We could have a podcast just about what to do when you're not playing golf in Myrtle Beach. I mean, you really could. Some of the best restaurants, Barefoot Landing is massive. It's restaurants and shopping. Then we've got Broadway at the beach. It's like 200 acres of nothing but restaurants and shopping. We have the Sky Wheel, which is right on the strip in downtown Myrtle. I think it's the 2nd largest Ferris wheel in the world. I think London has the 1st largest. Really cool to get on that thing, go all the way to the top. It's amazing how far you can see one direction and the other. They've really done a great job over the past couple of years of dumping some money into downtown Myrtle, getting some brand new restaurants. Riptides is a great bar down there that's on the beach, great menu. We go there and hang out a bunch. Some of the biggest TVs I've ever seen in my life to watch a game. And then you got down in Murrells Inlet, you've got this thing called the Marsh Walk. It's literally a boardwalk that goes all the way out into the marsh. You've got 7 or 8 restaurants, tons of bars, a beer garden where you can go down, get a drink, and literally walk around until they call your name for your restaurant to be ready. Some of my favorite spots is Frank's Outback. Absolutely killer restaurant. If you want to eat there, if your golf trip is in August, you need to go ahead and call and get a reservation now. It's how good the food is.
Wow.
They stay booked. So they have a front of house, which is called Frank's, and then they have a Frank's Outback. It's an outdoor bar. Well, I say it's outdoor. It's kind of has tinting, so you're not getting hot or anything like that. But one of the coolest spots in Myrtle Beach, Frank's Outback. I like to go hang out at Bubba's Love Shack, which is down the Marsh Walk. One of my favorite spots. Up at Barefoot, we take a lot of golfers to Umberto's. It's called Pittsburgh Italian. Some of the best veal chops, pork chops, ribeyes you've ever put in your mouth. I'm talking about just melt in your mouth. Crazy good food. Rapone's, it's probably the best pizza on Myrtle Beach. So keep that in mind. It's up, it's almost right Alligator Adventure. I'm sure you've heard of that down here. It's like catty cornered Alligator Adventure. They have a big open wood fire grill, or stone, whatever it's called, and that's how they cook their pizzas. And all their pizzas are like 10, 12 inches, so it's almost like your own pizza, I guess. Mm-hmm. It's kind of shaped like a football almost. Some really authentic Italian choices for pizzas, and then they got your classic New York style with pepperoni and all that. But Rapone's, if you want a good slice of pie, that's where you need to go. So there's just so much to do from the time you wake up to the time if you don't go to sleep. There's nightlife 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. If you're into all that, there's bars that stay open. I think you can drink until 2 a.m. One of my favorite spots is at Broadway, Crocodile Rocks. I love the piano bar there. It's a great spot to hang out. Yeah, man. So, and we get different types of groups. We get groups that are just here to play golf. They're your 36 a day. They just want a sandwich at night, go home, look at what they're playing tomorrow, and put their game plan together, right? And then we have guys down here on bachelor parties that golf is just part of the trip. And they're playing 2 or 3 times, but they want to know where the bars are and, all of that stuff. We've done honeymoons. We hosted a couple of honeymoons last year, which I never thought. If you told me I'd be hosting honeymoons, I told you were crazy. But we hosted honeymoons, so we showed them a good time. And so, yeah, there's just so much to do here. Like I said, you could have a completely different podcast on what not to do while you're not playing golf. What to do while you're not playing golf. So
I've always loved the Myrtle area just for all the different things that you can be involved in one different trip. And I know for our group, somehow we found Dirty Don's early on.
Yeah, great spot. Yeah.
Deep fried anything from the sea. And then we had a horrible time. We ate way too much at Captain George's.
Got to be careful, man. You go to those all-you-can-eat buffets, ruin you for the next day. Yeah,
I was shocked at the amount of birthday parties in one location for anyone to have. Every table it felt like there's a birthday party going on. But
the first time I went in there, I was shocked at how many people they could fit in there.
Huge.
Massive. It doesn't. It looks big on the outside, and it's right next to the PGA Superstore. And I went in there and I was like, how are they getting all of these people in here? It's massive. It's crazy.
For the listeners, it's a all-you-can-eat buffet, and it's got a couple different nearly full-size pirate-themed buffets, and they are sky high. They have sails, and they are shaped like a ship. The food we got real full. We didn't turn down any plates, that's for sure. But switching over, kind of mentioned, and remind me again, I'm kind of familiar with the Grateful Dead logo, but that bear gets a little dressed up, kind of like your.
Yeah, so we love music, man. We are all about music. I haven't had a group yet that said we couldn't have a speaker going when we were playing with them, so I'm thankful for that. Music's a big part of what we do. There's always music going in the shop. I listen to music more than I watch TV, and that's the truth. I grew up in a very musical family. So we actually got him on right here, but we teamed up. For those that don't follow, the guy that does a lot of our, well, I should say a lot, but does quite a bit of our artwork is Richard, and he runs the page called Slacker Tide. Works with FootJoy, works with Howler Brothers, a lot of different people, does a lot of artwork for them. And I just told Richard, I said, I want a Grateful Dead bear swinging a golf club, surfing, and I don't know, maybe put something in his mouth, and you can maybe it's a cigarette, maybe it's a marijuana cigarette. I don't know. It's your interpretation. So
in many states, they're both legal.
That's right. That's right. So he said, "Yeah, I got you, man." And a couple weeks later, he came up with that. I didn't change anything on the design. We made head covers with it, hoodies, t-shirts. And I tell you what, we can't keep them in stock. It's really cool how that, and we've really been blessed with the whole merchandise thing's kind of a bonus for us. We have these ideas and come up with a lot of cool merch, and we just try to stay outside the box, not your traditional golf attire. You know, our wheelhouse is hoodies and pocket t-shirts and, you know, hats that you can either go fishing in or, you know, go surfing or whatever. That's kind of what we're about. And so, but yeah, so I'm a big great. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, you've even got one of the cord hats on right now, and I see that there's a theme around the website on the cord hat. So bring it back something a little vintage.
We do a lot of hats, man, and then we kind of coined the phrase the Dirty Myrtle Golf Club. We have they call Myrtle Beach the Dirty Myrtle. I'm not really sure where that nickname came from. I kind of have an idea, but I'm not 100% sure. I think back in the day, Myrtle Beach maybe had the most gentlemen's clubs per capita at one point. I think that might be how we got the name the Dirty Myrtle. I don't know, though. I've only been told that, so don't quote me on that. But anyway, we thought, let's just make a hat that says the Dirty Myrtle Golf Club. And we did, and I mean, they were sold out in a day. It's crazy, absolutely nuts. So
I'm jumping on the Wikipedia page just to include that in. So now it's fact. Now
is that what it is? Wow.
Oh yeah, it's going to be fact here in a second. Oh, that's wonderful. So did the apparel side come before the Salty Golfer side, or what was the evolution of Salty? Did it start as the personality doing the plunger and the tournament, and then morph into apparel?
All of the tournament came. The tournament was an idea that I didn't even think would be in play yet. I'll be honest with you. So I just started going. So let me rewind a little bit. So Katie and I, my wife, we had a hobby. We called it a hobby, and we both have day jobs. We're like, man, let's make some really cool clothing and apparel that's ocean themed. And we were making patch hats, and we had our own embroidery machines and our own heat seal machines, and we owned a company called Old North State Clothing Company. We lived in North Carolina. And everything was nautical themed. It wasn't golf or anything like that. Everything was just beach themed. And we got really good at it, but we were getting so busy with it that it became more of a hobby and more of we weren't as committed as we thought we were going to be to this. Let's put it that way. Mm-hmm. So we had a guy offer to buy the company with all the equipment and fabric and everything that we had. And I even offered to sell him the Instagram page. He didn't want the Instagram page. And so at the time, I only had like 1,500 followers at the time. I was like, what am I going to do with this Instagram page? I don't want to get rid of it, but what am I going to do with it? And Katie, my wife, I mean, she really gets all the credit for this. She says, well, you love the ocean and you love playing golf and you love photographing golf courses. Why don't you just call yourself the Salty Golfer? It's like, okay. That works. So we changed the name to the Salty Golfer. I made a sticker of my face wearing sunglasses and put Salty Golfer in the sunglasses and threw it out after, I don't know, about a month or so of calling myself the Salty Golfer. I made 100 stickers. I said, these are $2. Anybody want them? And I sold out in less than a day. So I was like, okay, we might be onto something here. So that, and then it just kind of fell into place like, hey, we need you to move to a central location. Or I moved to Myrtle Beach. And then now I got 86 golf courses to photograph in my backyard. And then it came like, okay, well, now I can help people out there down here by themselves playing golf. I can be their playing partner. And then what if we do like a run of t-shirts or head covers? And I kid you not, the first set of head covers and t-shirts, first set of head covers we did, they were gone in 3 hours. Literally gone in 3 hours. Now, I did 20 hybrid covers, 20 fairway, 20 driver covers. They're all gone. I was like, okay, now we're really onto something here. So we just started doing all this merchandise drops. Like we wouldn't do it like one after the other. We like quarterly because I was by myself, right? I'm like day job, other stuff going on. We'll just do stuff quarterly. And I was doing like small supply, high demand, right? So I wasn't doing like a crap ton of it. And people were getting mad, like it's selling out. I'm like, well, you got to kind of, I'm telling you when it's dropping, you gotta get on it. So, but then fast forward a year, we got up to like 4,000 Instagram followers. Last January, I took on a full-time business partner, Anthony. He was going to come today, but he had something else going on. Actually, I think he's playing golf. So
that's a good place to be.
yeah,
That's on brand.
Yeah, it's on brand, 100%. So Anthony came on as a full-time partner. We got the business LLC. We got it. Is it copy trademarked? And got all that stuff done. And within a year, now we're at just over 11.2K in Instagram followers, and we're doing merch every month, and we hosted, I think, over 30 some groups last year. I mean, it's crazy, man. It's crazy how it's taken off, and I love every minute of it. And the goal is one day this is all I do, right? Like I'm just a salty golfer. We bought a freaking 72 VW bus this year. I mean, at the end of last year. I mean, how crazy is that? So our podcast, Welcome to Puttsville, which we have shows on the 15th, the 1st and 15th of every month. That's going to start being the backdrop of the podcast. And so it's really, it's been a blessing, man. It's a blast. It's fun to meet all these people. And we carry around a pirate flag. And when you can play golf with us, or we're lucky enough to set up a golf trip for you, we bring a bottle of rum or a bottle of whiskey. We all do a shot together, and you sign the flag for us. And we've almost filled up our second flag. So it's really cool to see how many people, and some people have signed that flag twice, which is even better. That means we're getting repeat business. And so it's really cool how it's taken off. And as much as it grows and as big as it's getting, I just try to stay as real as possible. I want people to know that when they DM the page or they email us, it's me or Anthony, man. That's who you're getting responses from. If you got questions about Myrtle Beach golf courses, whether I'm booking your trip or not, I'm going to be as honest and upfront with you as possible. If a course is not playing well, or if it's something wrong with it, or it's not in great shape, I'm going to tell you. Because I don't want you to come down here and get a bad taste in your mouth. I would rather you say thank you. I appreciate that. And, maybe that course is in better shape the next time you're down. So it's we're really trying to do our best to get that younger demographic like yourself down to Myrtle Beach, and down to Myrtle Beach a lot, because we think it is affordable for those golfers from ages 20 to 35, 40 years old. I think sometimes we get the stigma that Myrtle Beach golf is for those 60-year-old and older generation. And it is. We want those guys to be down here too. Dadgum, man, there's a lot of stuff to do for you young guys too. And we just want to, that's what we're trying to do. That's really what we're concentrating on in 2023, is getting that younger demographic excited about Myrtle Beach golf, and just showing them a good time at the end of the day.
I say, for the listeners that haven't booked, last time I was in Myrtle Beach, and myself and another golfer went off property. Had we stayed on property, we could have played 36 holes a day for 6 days, 5 nights for $660. There is no better value in the US than going to Myrtle. And it was a Pete Dye, PB Dye, Tom Doak course, and then don't remember the third designer, but goodness, it's there's some value to be had.
Yeah. So I'll tell you this, we booked that group of 16, and they're staying on the ocean. They're playing True Blue, Willbrook, Pine Lakes, and I can't think of the other 2 courses, and every man staying for less than $600 on the ocean.
That's wonderful.
Crazy.
Yep.
It's crazy.
So this will be our last question, because
Sure.
My hope is we can continue to bring light to some of the other best parts of this country, because there are so many golf capitals, not like Myrtle, but if you do leave,
Yeah.
and sometimes you got to get away because it does get a little hot in, let's say, July.
Sure.
Is there a place in the US that you like to visit best?
You know what? I've never been to Scottsdale and played any of those golf courses. I think that just watching some of those golf courses on YouTube, and I think I would absolutely have a blast out there. It looks like a really good time. I've never really played desert golf. I think that would probably be the place that I would want to go and just spend a week, maybe do it around the waste management or something like that. That would be an absolute blast to be able to go there and that golf. I don't know, when that golf tournament starts, I kind of feel like, okay, golf is back. You know, that's kind of like all right, golf's back. So I know it's already back, but that tournament kind of gets it rolling for me. And but probably that. I mean, this is cliche. Who wouldn't want to go play Pebble Beach? I think that would be an absolute blast to go do that. But if you said, Wes, you got 2 weeks to live, where do you want to go spend a week and play golf? I think I'd say Scottsdale. I think that would be my pick.
All right. Well, from that, I'll say thank you, Wes. Thank you for your time, for the insight on Myrtle Beach, and we so appreciate it. Hopefully, I'll be hitting you up, and I'll see you here sometime soon. If not this year, for sure next year.
We'd love to have you, man. If you guys need anything, all you got to do is Google The Salty Golfer. All the Instagram stuff is The Salty Golfer. So check us out. We'd love to help you out anyway. If you got any questions, we're here for you.
Do appreciate it.
All right, man. We'll see you.